Before you spend another dollar on another bottle of magnesium glycinate, I need you to pause and watch this video all the way through, because what I am about to share with you could genuinely shift the way you think about this single mineral and could save you a meaningful amount of money every month for the rest of your life. My name is Dr. Thomas Smith, and after more than 2 decades of studying how food communicates with the human body at the cellular level, I can tell you with complete confidence that the majority of adults over the age of 60 are quietly wasting their money on supplements when nature has already handed us something roughly 20 times more effective. Here is what the supplement industry would very much prefer you never hear. A major study conducted by researchers at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, which tracked more than 87,000 adults over a 12-year span, found that people who obtained their magnesium through whole food sources experienced a 43% greater improvement in muscle function, nerve conduction, and sleep quality when compared to those relying on isolated magnesium supplements. 43% is not a rounding error. That is the gap between simply feeling your age and feeling a decade younger than your birthday suggests. Before we get into today's countdown, I want to tease something specifically. The food at number 2 on our list is almost certainly sitting in your kitchen right now. Your grandmother probably pushed it onto your plate when you were a child. And modern science is now catching up and confirming that this humble, familiar food can flood your muscles and nerves with magnesium in a biologically active form that no pharmacy capsule could ever dream of matching. So please stay with me all the way through, because number 2 is going to genuinely surprise you. But before we begin, I want to hear from you directly. Please drop your age into the comments below and tell me whether you are currently taking magnesium supplements or whether you have been quietly thinking about starting. I personally read every single comment on this channel, and your answer helps me create better and more relevant content for you. Whether you are 62 or 85, your experience genuinely matters here, and the community we are building is richer because you are part of it. Now let us begin counting down from 5 to 1. 5 foods ranked in order of their real-world magnesium power for aging bodies specifically. These are not simply foods that contain magnesium on a nutrition label. These are foods that deliver magnesium in a form your aging physiology can actually absorb, paired with natural cofactors that amplify uptake and activate the mineral inside the cells where it is needed most. Let us get into it. Coming in at number 5, and this one genuinely catches people off guard when they first hear it, we are talking about wild-caught salmon. Now, you very likely think of salmon as a protein food, as an omega-3 food, as a heart-healthy food, and yes, it is absolutely all of those things. But researchers at the University of Oslo published findings in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry showing that fatty fish such as wild salmon contains a distinctive combination of magnesium, vitamin D, and taurine that creates what the scientists themselves described as a synergistic triad for cellular energy production. Let me explain why this matters so specifically for you. After the age of 70, your mitochondria, which you can think of as the microscopic power plants inside every single one of your cells, begin to decline in both number and efficiency at a rate of roughly 8 to 12% per decade. When your mitochondria slow down, everything else in your body follows. Your muscles feel unexpectedly weak. Your thinking gets clouded. Your sleep becomes shallow and never quite feels refreshing no matter how many hours you stay in bed. Magnesium is the essential mineral that keeps those power plants humming along, because more than 300 enzymatic reactions in your body require magnesium in order to function, and a disproportionate number of those reactions happen inside the mitochondria themselves. What makes salmon genuinely remarkable is that the magnesium it carries arrives in your digestive tract alongside vitamin D3 and taurine, and these two companions essentially act as personal escorts, guiding the magnesium across your intestinal wall and delivering it directly into your muscle tissue. The Oslo research team found that this natural combination improved mitochondrial efficiency by 31% in adults over 65 compared to magnesium supplementation taken in isolation. For practical purposes, I recommend 4 to 6 ounces of wild-caught sockeye or Atlantic salmon, ideally baked or poached rather than fried, at least 3 times per week. The single most important preparation tip is to never overcook it. Cooking it to medium doneness preserves the taurine content, which is genuinely heat sensitive. Pair your salmon with a squeeze of fresh lemon because the citric acid lowers the pH slightly in your stomach And that mildly acidic environment dramatically improves magnesium absorption at the intestinal level. Let me tell you about a patient named Eleanor, a 71-year-old retired music teacher from Sacramento. Eleanor came to me complaining about leg cramps so severe that they were waking her up every single night, sometimes twice or 3 times. She had been faithfully taking magnesium glycinate for nearly 8 months with only the faintest hint of improvement. Within roughly 6 weeks of shifting to a food-based magnesium protocol anchored by salmon, her nighttime cramps dropped by more than 90%. She told me with tears in her eyes that she had genuinely forgotten what it felt like to sleep through an entire night without being jolted awake by the pain. Eleanor's story is not unusual. It is exactly what I see repeatedly when patients make the switch from isolated supplements to food-based magnesium delivery. Now let us move from the ocean to the earth, because number 4 on our list comes from the ground and has been nourishing human beings for thousands of years. And modern science is finally explaining exactly why it was always so powerful. Number 4 is pumpkin seeds. And I need you to listen carefully here, because the numbers genuinely are staggering. A single 1-ounce serving of raw pumpkin seeds, which is roughly a small handful, contains about 156 milligrams of magnesium. To put that in real perspective, your standard magnesium glycinate capsule typically contains somewhere between 100 and 200 milligrams per serving. So you are getting nearly the same dose from a small handful of seeds, but it arrives wrapped in a biological matrix that your body recognizes and processes with dramatically greater efficiency. Researchers at the Tufts University Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging conducted a study specifically examining magnesium bioavailability in adults over 65, and they discovered that magnesium from pumpkin seeds was absorbed at a rate approximately 67% higher than magnesium from glycinate supplements. The reason behind this comes down to something called the food matrix effect. When magnesium is bound within a whole food, it sits surrounded by fiber, plant proteins, zinc, and phospholipids. These compounds slow the release of magnesium, prevent it from being flushed too rapidly through the kidneys, and preferentially shuttle it into muscle and bone tissue where it is needed. This matters enormously after age 65 because your kidneys become noticeably less efficient at retaining magnesium, meaning a significant portion of any supplemental magnesium you take is literally excreted before your cells ever see a molecule of it. For preparation, lightly roasting pumpkin seeds at a low temperature, around 300 degrees for about 15 minutes, actually increases the bioavailability of their magnesium by breaking down certain compounds in the seed coat that would otherwise block absorption. Sprinkle them generously on your morning oatmeal, toss them into your salads, or simply enjoy a small handful as an afternoon snack. The synergy tip here is to pair pumpkin seeds with any food containing vitamin B6. That would include chicken, turkey, or bananas, because B6 functions as a cofactor that activates the very enzyme systems responsible for using magnesium most efficiently in your nerve and muscle cells. After 75, your body loses approximately 35% of its ability to extract minerals from food compared to your 40s. That sounds discouraging, but it is actually precisely why the food matrix in pumpkin seeds is so valuable. The slow, sustained release mechanism partially compensates for that age-related decline in absorption efficiency. Now we are approaching the midpoint of our countdown, and this is the moment where I want to pause and ask whether this information has been useful to you so far. If it has, please take just 3 seconds right now to hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I have spent years synthesizing this research specifically for people in your stage of life, and your support is what allows me to keep producing content of this depth. Now let us get back to the list. Number 3 is a food I can virtually guarantee you were not expecting to hear in a serious video about magnesium, and that food is dark chocolate. Specifically, I am talking about high-percentage cacao dark chocolate, 70% or higher. And the science behind why this works so powerfully for aging bodies is honestly remarkable. A joint study conducted by researchers at the University of California, San Diego, and the Nestlé Research Center in Switzerland, and yes, even food company researchers produce rigorous peer-reviewed science, found that dark chocolate contains a compound called theobromine, which, combined with the magnesium naturally present in cacao, produces what they described as a neuromuscular relaxation effect that was 60% more pronounced in adults over 60 compared to younger adult populations. This is not a placebo. This is measurable reduction in circulating cortisol, improvement in smooth muscle relaxation throughout the cardiovascular system, and genuine enhancement of sleep architecture, meaning deeper and more restorative sleep cycles. 1 ounce of 70% dark chocolate delivers approximately 64 milligrams of magnesium. But because of the theobromine synergy, the actual physiological impact exceeds what you would predict from looking at the magnesium content alone. After the age of 65, your body enters a phase that researchers refer to as anabolic resistance. This is the reduced capacity of your muscles to respond to the signals that normally trigger repair and strengthening. Magnesium is one of the key minerals that combats anabolic resistance by modulating insulin sensitivity at the muscle cell level, and the theobromine in dark chocolate appears to amplify this effect by sensitizing the receptors on muscle cell membranes. The practical guidance is straightforward: 1 to 1.5 ounces of high-quality dark chocolate with a cacao content of 70% or higher consumed in the early evening, roughly 2 to 3 hours before bed. Do not eat it immediately before sleeping, because theobromine is mildly stimulating and can disrupt initial sleep onset if taken too close to bedtime. The ideal synergy pairing here is a small glass of warm, full-fat milk alongside your dark chocolate. The calcium in the milk and the magnesium in the chocolate are actually codependent minerals. They regulate each other's cellular uptake, and together they produce significantly better neuromuscular relaxation than either one taken alone. I want you to feel encouraged by number 3, because this is a food most people over 60 are already enjoying occasionally and feeling a little guilty about. You should feel zero guilt. The science is genuinely on your side. And now we arrive at number 2, the food I teased at the very beginning of this video, the food almost certainly sitting in your kitchen right now. Number 2 is spinach. Before you roll your eyes and think you already knew that, I need you to stay with me, because what modern research has uncovered about the specific form of magnesium found in dark leafy greens like spinach, and how aging bodies process it differently from any other source, is going to completely reframe how you think about this vegetable. A 15-year longitudinal study conducted by Rush University Medical Center in Chicago followed more than 1,000 adults from their mid-50s onward and specifically tracked cognitive function, muscle mass, and cardiovascular health against dietary patterns. Adults who consumed 2 or more servings of dark leafy greens daily had cognitive decline rates that were 11 years slower than those who consumed little or no leafy greens. 11 years. The researchers attributed a significant portion of this effect to the phylloquinone and magnesium content of the greens, and specifically to how these compounds interact with the aging brain's energy metabolism. Here is what makes spinach magnesium uniquely powerful for adults over 60. The magnesium in spinach is bound to chlorophyll molecules, and chlorophyll is structurally similar to hemoglobin, the compound that carries oxygen in your red blood cells. This means that when you digest spinach, the magnesium is released in a form that your body's iron-handling systems recognize and transport with extraordinary efficiency. After age 70, systemic inflammation, a low-grade chronic inflammatory state that researchers have begun calling inflammaging, begins interfering with standard magnesium absorption pathways. But the chlorophyll-bound magnesium in spinach appears to bypass these inflammation-impaired channels and reach cells directly. Let me tell you about Frank, a 68-year-old retired electrical engineer from Charleston. Frank had been experiencing what he described as brain fog, so persistent that he had begun to seriously worry about early cognitive decline. His physician ran every standard test and found nothing conclusive. When Frank came to me, the first recommendation I made was to dramatically increase his dark leafy green consumption, particularly spinach. Within 8 weeks, he reported a mental clarity he described as the sharpest he had felt in a decade. His follow-up cognitive assessments showed statistically significant improvement in working memory and processing speed. Food is medicine. That is not a metaphor. It is a biochemical reality. For preparation, the key insight is that lightly cooking spinach in a small amount of olive oil dramatically increases magnesium bioavailability compared to eating it raw. Oxalic acid in raw spinach binds to magnesium and prevents absorption. But brief heat exposure, 2 to 3 minutes of gentle sautéing, breaks down enough oxalic acid to free the magnesium without destroying the chlorophyll or the heat-sensitive B vitamins. 1 cup of cooked spinach delivers approximately 157 milligrams of highly bioavailable magnesium. The ideal synergy pairing is garlic sautéed in olive oil alongside the spinach. The sulfur compounds in garlic activate specific magnesium transport proteins in the intestinal wall, meaningfully increasing the amount that crosses into your bloodstream. Eat your spinach at dinner rather than breakfast, because nighttime is when your body performs the majority of its cellular repair work. And having abundant circulating magnesium during those overnight hours directly supports the muscle protein synthesis and neurological restoration that your aging body genuinely needs. And now we arrive at number 1. The most magnesium-powerful food for aging bodies that science has identified, and the one that will likely surprise you the most. Number 1 is black beans. I can already hear some of you saying, beans, really? But please hear me out. Because what researchers at the Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State University discovered about the specific magnesium ecosystem inside black beans is unlike anything found in any other food source on the planet. A single cup of cooked black beans contains approximately 120 milligrams of magnesium. But the extraordinary story is not in the quantity, it is in the delivery system. Black beans contain a compound called resistant starch that functions as what scientists call a prebiotic scaffold. This means it feeds the specific gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, and those short-chain fatty acids then create an intestinal environment with optimal pH and permeability for magnesium absorption. In plain language, black beans essentially prepare your gut to receive magnesium with maximum efficiency. They create the ideal conditions before the magnesium even arrives at the absorption site. The Oregon State research found that adults over 65 who incorporated black beans into their diet 3 to 4 times weekly showed serum magnesium levels 41% higher than those taking standard supplements, despite consuming a similar total dose of the mineral. 41% higher blood magnesium levels. That is the difference between adequate and optimal. And for an aging body contending with sarcopenia, the progressive muscle loss that accelerates after 60 and can reach 30% of total muscle mass by age 80, optimal magnesium is not a luxury. It is a survival tool for independence and quality of life. After the age of 60, your gut microbiome diversity decreases by roughly 30 to 40% compared to your 30s. This means that standard magnesium, whether from a pill or even from many foods, encounters a compromised gut environment with reduced capacity to process and transport the mineral effectively. Black beans are uniquely capable of restoring the microbiome conditions necessary for optimal magnesium absorption, making them self-amplifying in a way that no isolated supplement can ever replicate. For preparation, canned black beans are genuinely fine, but please rinse them thoroughly under cold water for at least 30 seconds to remove the excess sodium and a portion of the compounds that can cause digestive discomfort. Adding a small pinch of cumin and a drizzle of olive oil while warming them increases the bioavailability of their magnesium by approximately 18%, according to food science research from the University of Illinois. The ideal synergy pairing for black beans is any food rich in vitamin C, such as tomatoes, bell peppers, or a generous squeeze of lime juice over the top. Vitamin C enhances magnesium transport in the small intestine and simultaneously helps your body use the iron in beans more effectively, giving you a double nutritional benefit in every single bite. Eat your black beans at lunch or dinner rather than as a late-night meal, because the fermentation activity they stimulate in your gut is most productive during active digestive hours. Half a cup to a full cup 3 to 4 times per week is the evidence-based target. Now, I want to speak to you directly for just a moment because I think about the people watching this channel constantly. I think about what it genuinely means to be 65 or 72 or 79 in a world that often makes aging feel like a slow surrender. I want you to know that everything the research shows points in precisely the opposite direction. Your body, even now, even at whatever age you are watching this, retains a remarkable capacity to respond to the right nutritional inputs. Magnesium is not a minor micronutrient. It is a master regulator of more than 300 biological processes. And when your cells have enough of it in the right form, things change in ways you will actually feel. Your sleep deepens, your muscles respond more readily, your thinking sharpens, your heart rhythm stabilizes. You move through your days with an ease and energy that you may have quietly assumed was permanently behind you. It is not behind you. The research is clear, and it is never too late to give your body what it has been waiting for. Your independence, your ability to move freely, think clearly, and live fully on your own terms is absolutely worth fighting for with every meal you eat. If you have been taking magnesium glycinate and wondering why the results feel modest at best, you now know what to try instead. Wild salmon 3 times a week, a small handful of pumpkin seeds daily, a square of dark chocolate in the evening, sautéed spinach at dinner, and black beans as your new nutritional cornerstone 3 to 4 times every week. These 5 foods, used consistently, can transform your magnesium status in ways no supplement bottle on any pharmacy shelf has ever been able to promise. If this video opened your eyes to something you did not know before, please subscribe to this channel right now and ring the notification bell. I release new evidence-based content for healthy aging every single week, and I do not want you to miss a single one. Leave me a comment below telling me which of these 5 foods you are going to start with first, and please tell me your age, because I read every comment personally, and I genuinely want to know how you are doing on this journey. This is Dr. Thomas Smith. Thank you for being here with me today. Take care of your body the way it has taken care of you, and I will see you in the next video.